What's up guys, Ronnie here and welcome. And today I have a bit of a different draft for you guys, and that is going to be a Massiah into tank down draft without cleaving, right? That's right. And now keep in mind this is a very specific draft and a niche scenario where you can play him, but you can play him sometimes and resort back to the Massiah in these kind of matchups. But there needs to be a lot of stars aligned for it, and you always need to pick him on last rotation, otherwise you will be countered. But I think it's just a very fun draft, and let's get right into the match. So here you see the two drafts. As you can see, we're running a Massiah into Tiamat because the stars were aligned for our Massiah. Keep in mind this is a very specific scenario where you can pick the Massiah into a tank down draft. If the Rahu wasn't banned, for example, I would go the Rahu here, right? Just as a quick information, but often there is, some bruisers are banned, and the others are picked already, and you need to resort to something. And sometimes what I did quite often lately is I drafted a Yelly as well into some of these drafts as well. But with this draft, I think it's just very fun to see the Massiah go and go and go, and just take over the fight throughout this fight here. So we start off simply by giving our Massiah invincibility, and you really need someone to have him help out with that invincibility. And the good thing about Massiah especially is also, if you steal the healers and your opponent doesn't have a Chiaki, you can also just here in that scenario, if your opponent doesn't pick a Chiaki here, but he picks some, I don't know, a Lilium or whatever, you can also just ban the Linglo. He's out of healers, and then you just rotate your Massiah twice. He's gonna get a kill there without the healer after the second ult, and if he doesn't, he will definitely get a kill with his S2 and therefore extend his invincibility again. And he's gonna be perma-invis as well against no healer comps, and he will just take them out step by step. And it's just very menacing when he's creeping up the turn bar in that kind of scenarios. Bro has a presence, let me tell you that. But of course, there needs to be many things aligned. Now here we have the Fushu, and as you were able to see here, now of course Lily gonna be extending Massiah's ult duration or just giving him a reset so he is invincible again. Now as for the shells, as you were able to see, the Sonya specifically is running on a Fortissimo. Now I kind of like that, to be honest, on the Fortissimo. She's been doing very well on the Fortissimo. But at the same time, I have to say, if I had a spare Gigabyte, I would probably still run her on Gigabyte. I think the Gigabyte is just very good on the Sonya because you have basically 60% turn meter push. But since she already has 30% turn meter push by herself, the Fortissimo, her cycling isn't that bad already, and with the Fortissimo the healing is very nice. And yeah, like I said, I don't have a spare one. The same can be said for the Fushu. She's also not running on the shell that I want to have her on at the end, but she's running on a strong codex, and it is working for me as of now. And as you already see here, my Massiah is pretty much always untouchable, other than now. Now it's finally a time where he will be, oh no, he's invincible again. But there will come a time where he's not going to be invincible, and you will be able to see in that kind of draft right here, it doesn't matter at all. That's the fun part. It doesn't matter at all because he's never going to be able to take multiple turns here on the Tiamat before my Massiah goes and is already back in invincibility or back in full HP. And here I start to identify that the highest priority target of my opponent is going to be the Linglo, because often people run their Linglos on FRES, and therefore she's not as tanky as some of the other units. And because I see that, I start hammering it down onto the Linglo, trying to get her lower and lower. And as you were able to see here, he was hit by the Tiamat once. He's already back to full HP, and he's already cycling away from the Tiamat again, thanks to the Lily. And he's just untouchable, basically, in this game. He's going to be untouchable in this game. And we S1 here, because we have his ult up. He's invincible again. Bam, we get the kill onto the Ling Lo. As we said, we're just focusing down the Ling Lo, and now he's kind of screwed because now we can reset the Massiah ult again, give him another invincibility, get a double kill here, and he surrenders right there. And this is just already it kind of from my side. I just wanted to show you guys the Massiah into tank down. It's something different, right? I like it to play because it's just a lot of fun, and in the right scenarios he can actually do quite a lot of work, as you were able to see, especially as he also ignores the Tiamat passive. He can really put in some work into some of the other units there without worrying about the Tiamat absorbing all of the burst damage he puts out. But with that said, I'm Ronnie. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'm out. Peace!